our entire brain can understand 50 million beats per second, while our conscious can just understand 10 to 50 beats per second. So that's just to explain you the difference between our conscious versus our conscious. So I'm explaining you this story because I'm explaining the statistics because I just wouldn't want to explain you a story about myself. Back when I was 19, I did a zonal competition, and it was pretty much qualification for a national competition, right? I was, good enough and lucky enough to, first of all, I'm doing fencing for myself, and the way that competition works is that, we have the pools and the direct elimination. The pools, there are usually 5 to 6 bouts, and after that, there's a ranking, a list of classmen that, is gonna end up, it's gonna match each other in the direct elimination, right? In the pools, I did, I win all the bouts, so it was pretty good. And at the end of the classmen, before the direct elimination, I was kind of first or second for that. So even if I lost my first match, which I didn't have to do, so my second match, I actually, could I was already qualified for the national competition after, listing down the classmen after the competition, right? It sounds silly, but basically I was just already qualified, right, just by doing the pools. So it's a pretty funny situation because having have to do the first bout in direct elimination, and after that, I got to fence with another opponent in the same club. And I remember vividly one of my coaches that were actually speaking and taking me by my side, and especially saying me that if the other guy lost the match with me, he couldn't qualify for a competition, and it was up to my decision, right? And I vividly remember that moment because that's when I understand a true man's core and a true man principle, how much they are valuable, right? Because I'll be honest with you, and pretty straightforward, it was not even a decision for me. I didn't have to choose. It was pretty simple. Like, I knew how hard I worked for that. If the opponent could win, I mean, it will be because he proved on the strip, not by my decision. So I just simply respected the work that I put in, the every single minutes and hours that I generally put in the drills, the lessons, everything. So it was just disrespectful for that, and eventually I gotta win the bout, right? So after that, I could clearly see the faces of my coaches that some were actually they weren't happy about that. They expect me to give the win to the other guy, and just like that, you know, in that nothing happens. But that's actually not the true reality. And I'm saying that because fencing is actually a very psychic game, and like in every aspect or of the other sports, there's a very particular way of the psychological thing and factor that at the end of the day handles easily 40%, 50% of your performance. So I honestly just want to say how I did it. Oh, I'm 90 years old, but since the age of 17, I was like that. I really had in my mind what I could stand for, what I could tolerate, my boundaries, what were that. So, first of all, I just want to explain you how to, be decisive in that moment. Because if you just look at externally at what they did, you could say, Francesco, you are a very decisive guy in that moment. But I didn't choose it before. In that moment, it was something that it was part of me, and if it would change entirely, not because an external factor that just happened in the moment. So how to have core principle and how to be decisive. So first of all, you actually have to define your boundaries. What actually you can tolerate and what actually you cannot tolerate. For me, this kind of situation, and I learned through time, is was actually something that was not acceptable, and then it was something that again it was just disrespectful for what I did. So another thing that fucks me, another thing that fucked me a lot in the past, and I know that fucks a lot of athletes actually, building up pro and cons list, right? Thinking about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and it all comes down really to what you believe, and what you believe your seeds are, what you believe, the true and basics, that you are not what the other guy thinks, and maybe the guy in the same club thinks what you decide to think. And then in that moment I could decide actually, for me, in that moment I wasn't thinking consciously about that decision of make the opponent win or not, right? It was a test for me. I proved myself that I actually current to what I truly believe, and I didn't try to fuck somebody out. And first of all, I don't have the respect for myself, for the family that at the end of the day put so much work in that. All the guy and the other stuff, the other people that helped me, that was just unacceptable. And like I said, you have to accept the social fallout. If somebody else is actually is angry at you, he may be not happy with you with what you did, honestly, just accept it. As long as you know what you truly stand for, and you truly believe that that's what you stand for, I mean, there's nothing that the other guy can say you to be wrong, right? As long as it's not illegal, right? Of course. I think that, without any blanket eye, if any one of us could decide in the moment and before, without making any decision before, we actually never hit rock bottom again, right? Of course, there will be moment that you will feel like shit, but that you won't get the result that you actually expected for, and it's fine. But you didn't betray your values, you didn't betray your word, you didn't betray your respect, right? And that's why you have to play the long term play. That old shit is just short term thing that at the end of the day, 99.9% out of 100 are just as I said, just shit. So yeah, if you want to deep dive and learn more about it, never hit rock bottom again. I'm actually writing a newsletter every single Sunday at 8 p.m. So yeah, basically 2 p.m. Central Eastern Time, Central Europe time. So yeah, click the link down below.